Hi guys, Ancient Warrior, welcome back. If you like what you hear here, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be the first kid on your block to know what craziness I'm talking about next, hit the bell icon with all. And folks, I gotta have you making some kind of comments. Now don't leave crude and stupid ones, because I'll just knock them out. But do leave comments. And don't leave websites. Guys, I really get tired of people leaving websites that lead to porn sites. You know, I had a friend saw in one of my videos a web address. He went to it, and I'll be damned if it wasn't a porn site. It was back during when I was sick and wasn't keeping track as much as I am now. We're growing a little bit, folks. Not very fast. But you know, sometimes growth too fast is not a good idea. Let's talk today about Payday Preps. Now I know it's Monday and you were expecting to hear me say we're going to talk about nutrition. Well, in a sense, your Payday Preps are your nutrition. I went yesterday to, as some of you affectionately call it, China Mart, Wally World, whatever you call it. And I bought, as you can see, $70 worth of stuff. Now some of it I'll be using currently, but most of that $70 is stuff that went to my stores. But I was noticing something yesterday. Now, there used to be on squash, canned squash and stuff like that, used to be 3 and 4 different types. Yesterday there was one. Canned cabbage, there was one. Tomatoes, okra, and onions and like that used to be 3 or 4, and you could get them with any heat level you wanted, from not at all too hot. One type, and it's without jalapenos, without any spice. Spinach. Cans of spinach. Now I've been buying Popeye spinach for years, so I kind of look for it. I was getting it exactly 1 year ago for 79 cents a can. Today, or yesterday when I went to Walmart, it was $1 a can. That's a 21-cent jump. I was noticing just about every one of the canned goods that I was buying yesterday, that was about the standard jump. Was about between 18 and 21 cents. You know, I'm looking at, I got some corned beef hash. Now, I'm going to tell you, I eat corned beef hash. I like it. It's a good breakfast food. But it's very high in calories and a few other things. Carbs are real high in it too because of the potatoes. So I have to, one can will make 4 breakfasts for me. And, you know, I have to think of it that way. Now, I also have to add a little, you know, these canned hashes, they're great, except they don't put enough potato in it. And then they don't put bell pepper. They don't put enough onion. They'll sprinkle of garlic, you know. I got to do it to my taste. And what starts out, you know, a small amount, generally by the time I get through, is more than I should eat for breakfast. Now, folks, we're going to talk about later down the week, next week maybe, why not to buy cheap stuff. A friend of mine, I've been after him for several years to not do that. And he did it not too long ago, and it bit him. It bit him majorly. But we'll talk about that in another video. Folks, depending on how often you get paid. Now, I get paid, I actually get a paycheck 4 times a month. Couple of retirement checks and then 2 paychecks. Then I have my little side hustle where I clean headlights. And it's that time of the year for a lot of people to get their get their car inspected and their tags. So, you know, people who've used me before and know that I'm real reasonable on it, and it doesn't take me more than 30 minutes to get it done on most cars, are coming back. One guy the other day, a young kid, I got tickled at him. He looked at me and he says, "My dad says you need to do the headlights again just to make sure that I pass my inspection." And I looked at him and I looked at his headlights and I said, "You've been playing in the mud again, haven't you?" And he said, "Yeah." And I went ahead, cleaned up everything. And I looked at him and I said, "You're going to need to, next year, you're going to need to buy new headlight housings and everything." And he looked at me and said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, you've hit something really solid with that. It's cracked. I sealed it, but it won't last. You hit something else and it's gone." It's funny what young people know and don't know. Guys, get out and do your buying now. Now, I'm not going to be one of those fear-mongers who yell, "Oh, the sky is falling, the sky is falling." I'm going to be one of those people that says, "Hey, folks, things are going to start getting tough here pretty quick. You need to get prepared." I was telling a guy this morning, had to take old Satori, the blue heeler, over to the vet, and I told this guy and I was talking about how weird the weather's been. Here in middle July, in the Texas Panhandle, we normally run mid-90s. We normally run mid-90s to over 100 to pass the century mark. This year, now we've cracked 100 a couple of times this summer, but we've been staying mostly here of late in the low to mid 80s. We've had a couple of days flirting with getting up into the 90s, but I mean, that's all it is a flirting. And we've had a lot of rain. My grass right now is really green. I don't believe in watering. Grass, let me tell you something, folks. Grass is a nice thing to have for the dogs to walk on, or for me to mow, or have something to do. But if I can't eat it, I don't water it. And I don't water grass. This year it's bright green. Hell, I'm fighting weeds like they're going out of style this year. But it's bright green. We've had a lot of rain. A week or so ago, we got a pretty good shower. I got a ½ inch. So, folks, get your preps in order. I was talking to the guy today at the vet office. I think it's going to be a colder winter. I think it's going to be a wetter winter this year than what we're used to in my area. Now, some of you, I know, I listen to Angry Prepper and to Pinball and to Prepper Nation, and they're all out there on the East Coast, and they're talking about how hot it is. I listen to preppers from out on the West Coast talking about how hot it is, how bad it is. I listened to a little brain dead YouTuber, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs about global warming. Oh dear God, these children will never learn. But that's beside the point. Folks, listen to me well. Hear me, please. And that is, get your preps in order. Stack it from the floor to the ceiling. In another video, we're going to talk about some things that are going on. So, with that being said, stack it from the floor to the ceiling. If you got to knock a hole in the roof and start stacking it higher, go. Just don't knock a hole in the roof, and because then water comes in if it rains. But and insulation, just go to the ceiling of the room and then start another stack. I don't want to get in trouble. The building trades are going to be mad if, well, maybe not, because they'd get to repair it. Oh well. With that being said, folks, stack it from the floor to the ceiling. And remember, if you're prepping, you're a free person. And remember, it's better to have this stuff and not need it than need it and not have it. I'm the Ancient Warrior. We're out.